because spiritual awakening is not linear. It doesn't happen all completely. It's like you have times where you awaken to certain things, and then you reevaluate your perspectives about certain things, and other times you may feel like you're not certain. But the whole point of it all is to continue to evolve, to continue to grow, and to allow yourself to have self-compassion. And I say this because when you have gone through different situations in your life, and some may have called it experiencing the dark night of the soul. I think that is well known by Dr. Carl Jung. Okay, so within the dark night of the soul is when your life literally feels as if things have collapsed. Maybe for some, it could represent exiting that matrix mindset or cognitive dissonance per se. So it could resonate differently for different people. But when you are shifting your life forward, and you may have been someone where you may have been even agnostic, some people may have been pagan, some people may have been very religious, okay? Whatever it is, when you have these life-changing situations, you may have experienced a major loss, you may have experienced setbacks, whatever it is that was a catalyst in your life that caused you to reassess so many things, it can be not such a pretty sight. It can be really difficult. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I use my words as responsibly as possible. And how this may show up is you could be someone where you may be convicted in your heart and your soul that, okay, there is a higher power, there is a most high, Yeshua, whatever term you feel comfortable with, Jesus Christ, all right? But you may not feel as if you align with religious dogma per se. So it's not like any of us literally get a template. Yes, we have a Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. We have the Apocrypha, we have the Geneva. There's so many different interpretations of scripture that we can rely on as sort of like a guidepost. Someone in one of the comments mentioned about my content being like a side note to life, and I love that. Thank you. That's all I'm trying to do here with as I'm growing in life, as I'm experiencing a deeper level of spirituality and truly aligning with spiritual harmony in this earth realm, because I'm going to have it. I'm having it. All right. And so I'm just hoping that my messages will be able to impact just a few. I know it's not going to impact a lot of people. Most people, it's going to go over their head. Most people are going to think it's just garbage, it's rubbish. But to each his own. But I share how it's going to be so important to lend yourself self-compassion, because nobody is walking around holding your hand while you're discovering these things. And yesterday, I was going to go to church, right? Now, sometimes I would go to church still. I grew up going to church all the time. But as I've grown more so spiritually, I don't actually feel like I fit in. Okay? I feel, although it is a environment where you should be able to fellowship, where the presence of God is there, at times in church settings, I feel that, but I feel very much marginalized. I feel like boxed in a church setting. I feel more so that I'm not necessarily religious, I'm more so spiritual. However, I do truly respect and honor the tenets of the Bible, of Scripture. And so I share this too in regard to self-compassion for yourself, because when you have gone through certain things, like I do feel like when you are in that post phase of having overcome like some major spiritual warfare, or you may have experienced some major setbacks, you could begin to be very like like dogmatic in regard to scripture, in regard to God, in regard to religion, to the point where it's like every word that comes out your mouth is God, 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 like everything. And to me, I feel as if it's like your nervous system is becoming balanced out. And it's like when you're going through some real messed up things in your life, it'll have you relying so heavily on faith. It'll have you cleaving so much to the Most High, to God, to the point where it's like it's on autopilot. That's literally the majority of the dialogue that's coming out. But lately I've been feeling that I'm more comfortable with what it is that my intuition, what my mind, what my heart is aligning with. And just because I am a believer of the Most High, and I know, I've seen it evident in my life, especially through different things that I've experienced. There was a time where I felt like, okay, religion, being a Christian per se, or going to church religiously, it's not really feeding me like that. I feel more content with aligning myself with the perspective of spirituality. Because in church settings, there's a lot of spiritual warfare. There's a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy, a lot of materialism. And it makes sense in a way, because most people that are going to church, oftentimes there's some things that they need to work on. So it's a lot of demonic energy within church environments. But being that I've evolved in my life right now, I don't feel comfortable in those environments where people are still really stuck in just being regurgitated information. And so in this platform, that's not what I want to do. I'm wanting to be more so a model of what it appears to be like when you're on a spiritual journey, when you are allowing yourself to not only be a vessel of the Most High, but to experience life in the fullest capacity as possible. And that is not boxed in. That is not just a cookie cutter idea of what it means to honor God or the Most High, and to actually do so in a way in which that you can thrive in the society. I share that because, as I mentioned, I was going to go to church, but then I'm trusting my intuition so much more now. And the last time I went to church, it's like I can feel, and again, I think it's because I'm clairvoyant, clairsentient. I have different spiritual gifts. Like I pick up on things, energy really easily. And so I can pick up on a lot of the things that were going on in there, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And when you're someone where you have a very strong aura, a strong presence about yourself, it becomes exhausting when you're going in environments and you can pick up on people's thought processes, the things people are thinking, or the things people say. Like you can pick up and read in between the lines a lot more clearly. So I didn't even feel like I wanted to exert that mental load of going in that environment. And so what I did instead was to enjoy nature. And I felt like that was like another epiphany for me, because even the idea of going was anxiety provoking, because a lot of the things that I'm grateful for, having grown up in a religious environment in churches, not to diss it or anything, but it's kind of like you're graduating to different levels. Like, there's kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, community college, you're going up different levels. And so I feel that, although I'm not trying to diss churches in general, but I feel as if I had to go through like a grief loss process of, now that I'm more spiritual, church is not a place that I don't foresee stepping foot in again. With all due respect, it's just my personal opinion. And again, I feel like this is me evolving to a higher level of self-compassion, and knowing that God is leading me, the Most High is leading me to where I truly need to be.